Jerry Brudos was married. There was nothing really that made him stand out. But yet behind closed doors, he was into a variety of fetishes, and yet nobody would ever know because he was doing it within the privacy of his own home. You don't usually see cross-dressers becoming serial killers. That's pretty unusual. But it was one of the fetishes, it was one of the paraphilic behaviors that he enmeshed himself in because of his mother. And he had a lot of anger towards women because he felt abused by them. When we talk about paraphilia, as they say specifically fetishes, they usually begin in childhood. Usually it's some kind of trauma that happens with the mother or sometimes with the father, sometimes with a neighbor, but usually within the family. There are things that happen where they're, say, for example, the mother always wanted to have a boy, but got a girl. Jerry found a pair of heels when he was at the dump. He was looking around. He knew that his mom really liked girls, and he wasn't a girl. And there was some favoritism shown toward the females, and he knew the shoes were important. I think that's when he first started looking at the shoes and thinking about them. And you could see the escalation throughout his life as he went from one more rather benign activity to much more deviant kind, and then eventually very, very dangerous behaviors. Jerry took pictures of his victims in select clothing because that was part of his fantasy. He's probably living in a fantasy about his mother. And for him, he had sexualized that. And so he would dress them up in women's certain clothing that he wanted that would make him feel better about himself. And perhaps harken him back to a time when life was safer for him. So Jerry, if you stand back as a scientist and you look at his behavior, Jerry was exploring his sexual interest in women and how he could act out, take trophies, act with impunity. He was doing things he'd been fantasizing about for a very long time. And once he started doing it, he wasn't going to stop. And he would have killed many more had he not been caught.